kind of excuse the mess. I have been cooking today. There are a few things on the table, and my table is highly used because I do cook. I don't do fast food 24/7. We're going to make venison round steak today. And the round steak we're going to make came from a deer harvested last year during bow season. I will post a photo of that deer. It does come straight from the woods to my table. We're going to trim the fat from this. Some people don't mind the fat. I'm not one of those people. I don't care for the taste of fat that's on venison. So just kind of bear with me while we trim this fat off. If you're going to do this, use a sharp knife. This is a Tokiga. It's made out of Japanese steel. This is the Damascus. It's a really good knife. It gets the job done. That's all that matters. I like to cut this off the bone. Save as much meat as I possibly can. I've been at it all day. I've been working on fences. I have been working on a gate to keep thieves out. They've been stealing my trail cams, and Eastern Kentucky's got horribly bad with thieves and crooks and drugs, and it's got to the point where it makes a man want to pack up and leave. But I'm sure it's not just like that in Eastern Kentucky. I'm sure it's like that everywhere you go. It is time to make the marinade. I've cut the majority of the fat off, probably 99% of the fat. There's still some left, but it's impossible to get all of it unless you want to spend 2 hours. I have drained the majority of the blood. To me, that is the key to getting the wild taste out. Well, you know, as much as possible. You can't get all the wild taste out, but the blood is what holds the wild taste. That's my opinion. I may be wrong, but I've always rinse the meat real good, put it in the colander, let it drain, rinse it again, put it in the colander, let it drain, put it in a plate, let the water and blood settle in the bottom of the plate, then just put the meat in the colander, rinse the plate, clean the plate, and put it back in, and you see it's very little dark red blood to the meat, very little condensation in the bottom, so we've got the majority of it out. But time to make the marinade. Just remember, clean your workstation when you're finished. My table might be a mess with burn places on it and everything, but that's because I use my table a lot. Now we need to put our meat, which is very, very good looking meat. That was a healthy looking doe, you know, and she so far she's fed me good. Now my marinade consists of any kind of buttermilk. I like the fat-free buttermilk because venison is a low-fat meat, so don't fatten it up by adding lots of fattening products. Now this, add enough buttermilk to almost get it to the top. Now, about a quarter of any beer. I like the light This is the Superior Light Beer, Michelob Ultra. This is a good beer. Now, you add this to it. The acid in this will break down a lot of the muscle tissue and stuff. We'll stir that up in a second. I don't want to touch it until I get everything in it. Any kind of meat tenderizer. The slow cooker is gonna already gonna tenderize it, but this will assist in it. Add a liberal amount. Don't be stingy with it, but don't destroy it with it. This is something I love. It adds a lot of the salty taste to it without adding a lot of the undesirable chemicals and stuff that regular salt comes with. And this also has tons and tons of minerals in it, like 85 minerals I think, and salt has 0. So you're getting a lot of minerals that are needed. I use this in a lot of my deer recipes too when I make mineral eggs, but this is because it has tons of minerals in it. Now add your salt. Now this is something else that I've really I had never heard of it until like a couple of years ago, but High Mountain Seasonings makes a venison rub, and it's good to put on, but it's also good to add to your marinade because it does get in there. And when I put my marinade in, I do not run it through a strainer. This Steak and Shake fry and steak burger seasoning, you can never go wrong with that. Okay, just a liberal amount of each one of those. Put all these to the side, and now let's finish it up with buttermilk to get it just to the top of it. Okay, so now let's mix it all up to make sure that everything gets in there real good. Everything is stirred up, and no pockets of seasoning, no pockets of just buttermilk. This right here will allow everything to soak up all the ingredients, and we have 1-5 marinade right here. Now, when you marinate something, it's not necessary. A lot of people don't do it, but I do. I put it in the refrigerator and let it chill. It's pretty awesome. Okay, put the lid back on there, buttermilk. So welcome back to my neck of the woods. We are 21 minutes and 25 seconds left in the 3 hours. I'm going to go ahead and do this now, cancel this, because it's already almost 4 o'clock. It's going to be about 9. That's about the time I'm planning on eating, because my family's gone fishing and they'll be back around the edge of dark, which is about 9. So let's dump this out. Alright, so now just briefly, not a lot, just cold water, knock some of the buttermilk off. I don't want an overwhelming buttermilk taste. A little bit more. Oh man, that smells good. If this was smell-o-vision, hoo-wee. Okay, meat. Crock pot. Then onion soup mix. Good. Then any brand cream of mushroom. I've got the Food Club because it's just like 50 cents cheaper. Call me cheapo if you want. Don't really care. Doesn't matter to me. That was a juicy sound. water. Well, it is the equivalent of a can of this. I poured a little bit in. It doesn't really matter. Now, stir this in. Up. Now, I just wanted to show you real quick some of my favorite seasonings. Okay, as I've showed you before, the venison rub, steak and shake, the Himalayan pink salt, and the meat tenderizer. But what I wanted to show you now was some of my others. I love garlic pepper salt. This goes in when I am making the final touches in the crock pot. Alright, 3 shakes. 1, 2, 3. 3.5, I guess you could say. Good stuff right there. Garlic pepper salt. Next, any kind of steak seasoning. I have Food Club steak grilling season. I have the historic Lynchburg, which I got at the Apple Barn in the Smoky Mountains. This is the one I'm using today. This is usually my favorite, the Chicago steak seasoning. Seasoned salt, I have to use some of this. Not a lot, because it's already got a lot of salt in it. Just a hint. And this right here, man, this is some good stuff. Apple Barn don't fool around when they sell something. Alright, that's the good stuff. Now, make sure you mix all this together. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of bone sucking sauce in here. Not a lot, but just enough to give it that little bit of a kick. Okay, just stir it a little more. Now, like I said, I will add onions and potatoes. I would add carrots, but I don't have any. I went to the store while I was waiting on the marinade to get done and forgot the carrots. Okay, I am going to set my timer for 3 hours. That's when I'm going to add my potatoes and onions. And then I'm going to let it go another 2.5 hours after that. Okay, first we're going to put up our potatoes. I'm going to leave the skin on. There's the potatoes. Next, the onion. Wash the potatoes one more time. Oops. Bye-bye, potato. I just want to season just a little bit. Some of the seasonings I've already used. I want to put a little bit of the steak seasoning. Some of the salt and pepper. And that's pretty much it. Right before I put that in, I will. Okay, so We're going to add the onions and the potatoes without doing anything on the oven. Alright, it's starting to look good. So let's just go ahead and add these in. Alright, mix it all up. Stir it in. That's approximately, excuse the dirty crock pot we're cooking, but approximately 2.5 hours. That's how much longer it likes. Clean this off so it gets a better seal. She likes about 2.5 hours. About 3.5 hours. What I like.